center field. Going back is Gonzalez. It is gone! Two-run home run by Schwarber. Stays put, and there's a high fly ball. Deep right field. Harper watches it fly.
And we are back for another episode of the Double Switch Podcast. Can't even remember last time we actually spoke. It's been a complete roller coaster of a season. Every time we get on here, it's like the complete of last time we talked. Right now, vibes are actually pretty good. Phillies are, I want to say they have the third best record in the NL. I don't know when that happened. Feels like just yesterday we were talking about how, wow, this team sucks.
Yeah.
But that's baseball. That's baseball, Susan. That's what they say. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good. It's crazy what a month can do for the vibes as a Philadelphia Phillies fan, because April 20th, I mean, I was crashing out. I was genuinely crashing.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I really did. I almost threw in the towel. I didn't. I held on to the towel by the edge. And we look up now on May 20th, and we are number one in the NL East, number one in the National League. So that's pretty cool.
Did we pass the Mets with the win last night?
We did.
Oh, wow, look at me.
Up by a half game.
They're out west, so you know what happens when they go out west.
Josh goes to bed.
I forget they exist, and I go to bed when I usually do. Yeah, it's a funny team. I'm telling you, dude. It's a really funny team, and we've been doing this for so long, and it's I don't know, but I think there's some really important storylines to talk about. If you're a Phillies fan, you obviously know what we're getting into. But let's start with I want to start with Aaron Nola today, because I could not tell you the last time Aaron Nola was on the IL. I like, that is a story by itself. Like, the fact that I've watched, he's been on the Phillies since I was in high school, since you and I were in high school, and he has been so solid. It's weird not seeing his name pop up on the schedule this week. You said you do know the last time he was on the IL?
Yeah, I was moving into my college dorm room in 2017. For reference, I am now 26 years old. So yeah, Iron Man.
Would you mind cueing the music real quick? Let's get the trivia time out of the way. I believe we're tied 6-6, right?
Yeah,
6-6. Okay. All right, Johnny, since 2015, which was Aaron Nola's first season in the majors, which is pretty crazy now that I just said it out loud that he's been in the majors since 2015. Since that year, Jared Eichhoff is sixth in innings pitched on the Phillies. Who are the five pitchers who have pitched more innings since 2015 than Jared Eichhoff? I will give you one strike to play with.
Wait, how many are in front of him?
5. He has 440 innings.
You said Jared Eichhoff does.
Yes, Jared Eichhoff. That's a deep cut. So definitely some bigger names ahead of him.
All right, so obviously Nola's in there.
Nola's one with 1,600 innings.
Okay, wow. All right, it's been a weird era, so this is a good question. This is a very good question.
Okay. I appreciate the praise.
All right. I will go with since 2016, correct?
2015.
I'm going to say Wheeler's in there.
Wheeler's number 2, 893.
Yeah, that adds up. And then I'm going to go with Nick Pivetta.
Nick Pivetta is 8th. 396. That is your one strike. So you have to guess.
All right.
Last 3 pitchers.
Oh, I get all right. So technically, I get 2 strikes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. Then we're gonna go Rangers
4 with 622 innings. So you have 3 of the 5.
All right. So I'm just missing number 3.
And 5. All right, we're all messed up. So you got to guess.
Okay, I misunderstood this.
Yeah, I'll give you 2
Okay,
strikes. You
gotcha.
have
And
2
I
more
golf was
pitchers.
6. I misunderstood that.
Yeah, you got to guess 2 more pitchers, i.e. you have 1 more
All
strike.
right. I do feel like I have a good chance of failing this one,
Okay.
but I'm going to say Vince Velasquez.
He's number 5. So you need 1 more. You're missing number 3. Vince Velasquez had 582. Number 3 was here a long time. Long time.
So it's not the duration between 2015 and now. It's just
the most innings in that period for the Phillies.
okay. Well, when you said a long time, I feel like I had to say Cole Hamels.
No, he was here a long time. I think Cole left in 2015. So my comment messed you up, so I won't count that.
All right.
Man, you were not expected to think that much.
No. I thought you keep getting me with these list questions, which I actually like, but
it's tough just making you guess just one guy because it's, you know what I mean? Like, you need to peck away.
No,
You're missing number 3. He's still in Major League Baseball. He was here for a long time. He made his debut here.
Oh, I know who it is.
Who is it?
It's Zach Eflin.
It's Zach Eflin, number 3, 659. Not a lot of innings out of these guys. It shows you how much turnover there is. Besides Aaron Nola, who has been here forever. Johnny, do you think this is a real IL stint, or do you think this is a we need something to point to kind of just give him a reset? It's not, because it's not an arm problem, like the season-long issues he's been having. You can't just write him off because he has an ankle injury. Like, what's your gauge on this whole move and just Aaron Nola, where he's at right now?
Well, I think both can be true. I think that he actually can be hurt, and this injury could come at a perfect time for himself, because I mean, we've watched Aaron Nola interviews for a long time. He's not a guy that's going to lie, and he's not a guy that's going to hide when he's struggling. He's going to keep pitching. He would pitch every single 5 days, like if he wasn't hurt, to get out of this. So yeah, and he mentioned that it was a non-baseball injury. He just messed up his ankle. It's his plant foot, which is his back foot. That's Josh, you're a pitcher. You understand the importance of that. Do I think it was super severe? Do I think it's something maybe he could have worked through? Probably. But I think it comes at a perfect time where the rest of our arms are wheeling and dealing. We had Mick Abel absolutely dealing in the minors. Taijuan Walker looked really good. It's the perfect time for him to get a little rest. A guy that we haven't had the luxury of Aaron Nola being able to do this sort of stint and kind of just collect himself, because we've depended on him for so long. But now we're in a place where we look at him as our 4th or 5th most important pitcher. And but to answer your question, I think both are true. I don't think he's lying about being injured, but I think that this rest comes at a perfect time.
Yeah, you kind of convinced me. I was kind of on the fence of we were doing a phantom IL stint, but now that I think about it, Rangers back now. He looks really good. Christopher Sanchez, obviously, we got the green light on him after his arm problems, and Taijuan Walker, it's not so far. He's not so far removed from his good start to the season, so hopefully the transition there can kind of go smoothly, because yeah, we kind of could use some stability. Aaron Nola has not really provided that. And do you kind of expect him to go back to what are you expecting post IL stint for Aaron Nola? That's the bigger question, I guess.
I think he's going to fight back to his old self. Well, I need to refine that, because I think we've all realized in a delay that Aaron Nola is slowly moving his way down our lineup. And for me, that's okay. I think Aaron Nola is going to get back to being a reliable starter. I think he's going to cut his ERA in half. I don't think he's going to be up in the 6s for the whole season. I think he'll be back down low 4s probably. I think we'll probably see him end the year with a 4.15 type ERA, and I think his strikeouts will be there. He'll come back and pitch the innings that we expect out of him. But I think the way the team sees him, it's more of a 4 or 5 guy.
Agreed. So assuming he's gone for 10 days or 15, whatever pitchers are, Taijuan Walker is going to step into this 5 role. I'm actually feeling pretty okay about that, but Mick Abel, man, he comes up Wasn't really expecting him to get called up. Firstly, I wasn't even expecting it.
No.
That caught me off guard, and he looks every bit of the top prospect that he once was. We actually name dropped him on the last pod as one of the guys who was turning some heads down there in AAA. He looked awesome. I'm a little confused on why we couldn't let it ride. Like how it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow sending a guy down after he flashes that type of just potential. He looked awesome.
For sure. It's an interesting thing. They set their mind to it though. And I don't think anyone expected him to look just as good as he did. I think if he puts on like a performance where people probably expected him to go like 5 innings and let up like 2 or 3 runs and have a handful of walks, but he didn't show any of those issues with like his command. I don't think he walked anyone. I think he threw 76% strikes, which is absolutely ridiculous. And he threw a gem. And
do you think that this is a move to keep his it's tough to really say what the motivation behind this is. He could have kept his like mojo up here in the major league staff. It's not really a problem with that. Do you think it's not even innings because he's going 5-6 innings down in the minors. Like, just why were they so set on one start from Mick Abel instead of
I think it's the respect they have for Taijuan Walker and the work that he's put in. I do. I think that the team has made a strong point through all this turmoil to stick by Taijuan because it seems like he does care. It doesn't seem like that. He cares, and he worked really hard. And you hear him talk post-game, and the guys love him. He's a big part of the clubhouse, and he's pitching well. So they want to reward him. And frankly, I don't think it was any diss on Mick Abel. I think the truth is that the Phillies are a pitching factory, a starting pitching factory right now. And we are so deep, and we're only going to get deeper.
When do you think we see him again?
I think the plan is now to send him back, get him into the bullpen. Work him as a reliever. I don't think anyone thought he was going to be touching 99. But the stuff he has, you look at some of the elite relievers like around the league, he has that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The control was really good.
So good.
For what I've heard from just beat reporters and people down in Lehigh Valley, that's the key. If the control is good, the stuff is plenty to get him by. I don't know. I hope we see him again. I hope this wasn't just like an audition. And I really hope at this point that he's not trade bait later in the season, because
trade bait or reliever.
Yeah, let's transition into part 2 of this episode. Jose Alvarado, he was suspended for PEDs. I'm sure everybody listening knows that.
Yeah.
From what I hear, it wasn't like Barry Bonds. Like, he wasn't like trying to do that. It was like a weight loss thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it was. You can't do that either way. And that is a killer loss for this bullpen and for this team, because he was our safety net down there. He was the security late in the game. And he was our bullpen ace, ultimately. I mean, he was the guy that gained the most trust from Rob Thompson. And losing him, it just props everybody up into bigger roles. Fortunately, we have some other guys down there who are really talented and have experience closing games. So I think we're good for the short term here. But yeah, it really does thin out, and suddenly you're looking down there and we're one Matt Strom shoulder soreness away from having just nothing down there. That's the problem. It's not the problem that we lost one guy. It's the problem that all the other guys become more important, and suddenly you're in this predicament where you don't have the depth you really need to get through a long postseason, a long season where, bullpens are just attrition down there. It's tough getting through the grind, and losing an arm like that and losing him for the playoffs is not great. So where are you at on this? And more importantly, what do we do? Like, what do we do here?
No, that's a good question. You debriefed that really well. Obviously, Alvarado, not non-excusable, man. Like, it's just, if you were trying to, I know a lot of people when they take these weight loss drugs now, they try to supplement the muscle loss with like a testosterone replacement stuff. But come on, man, be smarter than that. Like, you have all the resources at your disposal. It's really letting the team down. But as we can't control that now, so where are we at? I don't think that we are in trouble where we're at with the guys we have. I think you hit it really well. If another guy goes down, then we are actually truly in trouble. We did not have, like, we weren't super thin at the back end of the bullpen. That's something I feel like we had the luxury of, like, complaining about Jose Ruiz and the Kirk Rings and like those guys not filling their mid reliever roles. Now that really changes because Strom and Romano are looking like those guys that are going to solidify the back end. But now there is added pressure on Tanner Banks and Kirkring to become pretty much the new, like the Strom and like a Jeff Hoffman. It's of last year, I mean.
Yeah, so all completely true. I think Tanner Banks is the guy people are looking at right now because obviously he's a lefty, and that's the most direct comparison. And I think Strom's actually going to get some save chances. Him and Romano have to figure it out down there in the ninth inning. I think
do we do though?
The big viewpoint here is over the past couple of weeks, the thought was, oh, we could use a reliever. We could use another reliever down there. But now it goes to, yeah, we need somebody else down there. We need somebody else in this bullpen who we can really trust. Sure, there's plenty of guys who we could kind of bring up and test out, like a Mick Abel. But yeah, we need somebody else to get us through this season and someone we can trust in the playoffs. So how do we go about doing that? Is it an internal thing? Is it signing a free agent? There have been some free agents out there who the Phillies have spoke to, or is it a trade? There's big name relievers. They always go for a ton of prospect capital, which stinks because I hate doing that. But, you got to do something here because Alvarado was that guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you have to look internally first. It's like we have the problem where we're pushing guys out of the rotation because we have too many starters. Exhibit A, Taijuan Walker, Mick Abel situation. Obviously, I think one of those two guys is going to have to be an option in the bullpen. I think Mick Abel's the better choice because of his velocity and just his pure stuff. And then I think you have to look at one of the lefty starters, whether it's now or I think it's later. And I know everyone goes right to Ranger, but I look at Chris Sanchez. We have a deep rotation. We can afford to do it. And his stuff plays better as a reliever than I think Rangers does.
Mick Abel, yes, I'm on board with that. If that's the plan, long term, I do think he still has the ability to be a starter. But
Definitely
in the short term, I'm completely okay with that. I know there's other names down there. McFarlane. I know Moises Chassé just had Tommy John. That stinks. He would have been a good option.
Perfect.
McGarry is obviously hanging out around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Christopher Sanchez is probably the better of the two pitchers. I would agree there. His stuff at this point plays much better. But I think that Ranger has the experience and the poise that Alvarado, he's closest to Alvarado in that regard. So
I'm going to push back on that. I think I would say that Chris Sanchez and Alvarado have a more similar demeanor, and Ranger has a very unique demeanor that really no one else has on this team.
That's true.
Chris Sanchez has that fiery competitor side that Alvarado does, very animated, very intense. And then you look at his pitch mix, and it's also kind of similar to Alvarado, and it's similar to what the Phillies like in a relief pitcher.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a strong opinion as to who it should be. That's kind of why I'm like wishy-washy with this. I think they'd both probably be good down there. I know Ranger's a free agent, and he wants to get paid this offseason, so I don't think he's really going to want to do that. I think he probably wants to start and prove he can stay healthy over the course of a season. So that's a point in Chris Sanchez's favor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's either of them. If it is either of them, I think that probably means that Taijuan Walker gets a pretty long look in the rotation. They're counting on Andrew Painter at some point. So you're right. There's depth to do that. Internally, that would make sense. Do you think there's an external answer out there that
That being said, I think like the Abel solution could be something more short term. I think moving one of those lefties is something they do after the All-Star break when we're making like a final push, or like when we're actually maybe like close to the playoffs. I think between then and now, we're gonna have to make a trade. We do have a surplus of MLB ready talent to make something happen for a reliever. We have the top 10 prospects to make something happen. It's a matter of who. And for me, I'm going to the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'm saying, can I have one of Pete Fairbanks, Manuel Rodriguez, or Garrett Clevenger? Can I get one of those three? Or maybe can I get a 2-for-1?
Yeah, all super good options. Clevenger's a lefty, right?
He is. Been really good this year. Except for against us. We crushed him.
Yeah, they'd be expensive. They'd want somebody. You're probably looking at like maybe like Escobar down there. I know he's off to a really good start. I think the Orioles probably have a couple guys we could call about.
Yeah. Felix,
or Cano, who's pretty
honestly
good.
Call me crazy. I have it on my list, but Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Oh Jesus, dude! Could you imagine?
Yes.
Could you imagine Philadelphia and Twitter if we traded for Sir Anthony to become our answer down there? We would implode as a city. But I always thought he was good. Like I always thought Sir Anthony was good. So
I do, and and it would be in a spot where we're not asking Sir Anthony to be our closer. And are you really more comfortable with that David Robertson idea than you are with Sir Anthony Dominguez? I'm not.
I don't want David Robertson. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. I think it's going to be something like we've done so many times before, where we give up a prospect who's having a really good season for a reliever who's having a really good season. But there's not a ton of control there. We have him for a half season, and we've done this so many times. I just think
if we're looking at the patterns of the Philadelphia Phillies, we definitely overpay for Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, Ryan Helsley or Ryan Helsley.
It's just a guy that's really just a fastball, and a guy that really can't stay healthy, and a guy that doesn't really move the needle for us. But he pops for some reason because of his fastball.
Diaz on the Reds kind of makes sense. I don't know what
Mason Miller, I'm sure we'll hear a lot of.
What's David Bednar up to nowadays? Is he still?
I don't know how effective he is, but I'm sure he'll be available. The Pirates are a dumpster fire.
Yeah, he probably gets no save chances because he's on the Pirates. I don't know. That just feels like the likely scenario. It's tough. Who do the Angels have? Who's down in the Angels bullpen?
They really no one, man. They have like one. I looked at it because I know them.
We're so trading for Kenley Jansen, aren't we?
No.
Yes,
my God.
Dude.
We are actually.
We are trading for Kenley Jansen.
I almost wish we just never thought of that because.
God,
man,
dude, so over.
It's not like Ryan Helsley. That would actually be good compared to a Kenley Jansen trade right now.
No, it's 100% Kenley Jansen.
And then,
man.
God.
All right. Well,
that guy. If you guys are still listening, that's going to happen. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that stinks. Anyway, Phillies, dude.
Yeah, Phillies. I mean, they're going to go out. They're going to try to upgrade at least two of the bullpen arms because realistically, like Carlos Hernandez, Jose Ruiz, and the Joe Rosses aren't going to be the guys that are going to move the needle in the playoffs and help us win. So they're gonna have to improve.
Well said.
And there's a lot of ways to do it. So we shall see. And I don't think they have to do it right away. I think people gave up on Kerkering and Romano a little too quickly this year. Romano has turned it around, and I think Kerkering is going to get his swagger back. Just give the guy like a month.
So it's funny because last time we were on here, maybe not last time, but a couple episodes ago, where Romano was disaster, and everybody saw Jeff Hoffman's stats, and he was like the best reliever in baseball. Well, go look at them now, because it looks like Jeff Hoffman forgot how to pitch, and Romano has figured it out. So that's baseball, Susan.
Yeah, no, I saw that too, and it was like, whew, oh, man, what a game this is. What a game.
It's just the way it goes. But other than that, shout out Kyle Schwarber for homer number 3.
Yeah, it was huge. In Kyle Schwarber's style, an absolute bomb.
He's racking up the homers pretty quickly, and he's not that old. So I think that 400, maybe, you might be able to get Schwarber to 500 if all breaks right. What is he, 32?
Yep.
It's crazy. I just never really thought of him as a guy who could compile that type of career. But yeah, he's well on his way. And I mean, hopefully, 400, 500 continue to be in a Phillies uniform. Other than that,
to say the least, he's definitely having a hell of a contract year.
Oh yeah, he always felt like a guy who he should have bet on himself. He just seems like that guy who would come up big in that situation.
Massive.
Anybody else you want to highlight? I think.
Honestly, this offense still isn't even remotely close to its best, and we're at the top of the division. Just like that. It feels like yesterday that the season was over and the Mets owned us.
Yes, a lot of guys haven't even gotten going yet, and we're finding ways to win ball games now. So it's really promising for the future. But
we're a pitching factory.
Absolute
factory.
That is all I got.
That's all I got too. Hopefully we shell Antonio Santazella tonight.
Yeah, 840 game again.
Yeah, I got like 5 innings, and I got to watch the rest at work tomorrow.
All right. That should do it for this episode. As always, thank you guys for listening, and we will be back to talk to you soon. Take care.
Go Phils.